Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video here on the channel. Today's video is going to be a little bit different. There's no keyboard build, there's no tutorial. Today we're actually building a brand new PC. Let's go ahead and just jump into today's video. Alright, so before I get into all of the new parts and show you guys like all the individual items, I do want to go ahead and show you guys my old PC, like what I'm rocking with right now. So this might come as a shocker, but I do run an i5-4690K. If you guys have an i5, you guys have an old processor, you guys definitely know what I'm talking about. Everything is just slow, and with Fortnite and a lot of modern games just being like CPU heavy, it just really wasn't doing the trick. Now, what I had for a graphics card was a GTX 1660 Super, which we are going to be using for this new build as well. It's pretty much the only part that I'm going to be keeping from the old PC. I had actually DDR3 RAM in there because that was the only RAM in my PC that was compatible with the motherboard that I was using and the last gen of Intel CPUs. The i5-4690K is a specific one that I do have. Now, I didn't overclock it, but I know you can if you want to, I believe. You guys know I edit all my videos here on the channel. I use Premiere Pro, I use Adobe After Effects. I just use my PC for everything. Like, it's basically my job at this point. But without me rambling on anymore, let's go ahead and jump into all of the new parts here. So first, let's go ahead and start with the CPU. So as you guys can see, I have the Ryzen 5 3600X. It's a 6-core processor, and this thing is going to be an absolute beast. It's not like the all-time best processor, but the awesome thing about AMD is that I could always upgrade to a Ryzen 7 in the future without having to like do anything with my motherboard. Let's go ahead and hop into like the storage and the RAM. So for the storage, as I mentioned before, we have the Samsung 870 EVO solid state drive. This one being 1 terabyte, so I can upgrade in the future, but I think 1 terabyte is going to be fine for me right now, as I don't really back up a lot of my like videos on my main PC. And I guess before we get into the RAM, I thought I should probably go ahead and mention the case. Now for the case, we are rocking with the Corsair 4000X. Now for everything listed, everything you guys see here, there will be a link in the description if you guys do want to check anything out for yourself or pick it up. Now this case was about $137, but I do really like the white aesthetic. It looks really nice, and I think it's gonna match really nice with my RAM and AIO, which we're gonna get into in a minute. So getting into the RAM, as you guys can see here, we have 2 8GB sticks of RGB Vengeance Pro RAM from Corsair. And then for the AIO, which is potentially like my favorite thing about this entire build, we have the Corsair iQ H100i Elite Capellix in an all-white colorway, and this thing looks absolutely beautiful. Now for the motherboard, we have the ROG Strix B550F Gaming Wi-Fi Edition. This was about $199 on Amazon. I'm only mentioning that because I believe if you guys want to get the same one, you can get the non-Wi-Fi one for about like $160 or $170. I unfortunately accidentally bought the Wi-Fi one, even though I'm going to use like an Ethernet cable. So that's a big rip for me, unfortunately. And then we have a 750 watt PSU from Airscape. Hopefully that's how you say it. We have some Asian Horse power supply sleeved cables. These are going to be white to also kind of match the whole aesthetic. We have a white 120mm fan that's going to go up there. That one from Cooler Master. And then again, the GPU will be a 1660 Super from my old computer. So that's pretty much the entire build. Hopefully I didn't forget anything, but let's go ahead and jump into putting everything together. Alright, so a little bit of an update. As you guys can see, I have the motherboard in. We got the RAM sticks in. We have the CPU in as well. Now I'm going to go ahead and get the power supply in the bottom. I'm going to get the SSD all hooked up, and then I'm probably going to get the AIO hooked up. But so far, it's looking extremely nice. I really like the pink accents on the black motherboard. But let's go ahead and get the PSU in, and I'll catch you guys there. So I'm sorry if I couldn't show you guys as much of the process as I wanted to. I don't have the most room, as you guys know, in my studio here, but I have everything installed. I got everything plugged in except like the extra fan that I do need to add, but I got the AIO in and it looks good. I got everything hooked up and cable managed. The SSD in there, we got everything kind of hooked up, that all the connectors on the top, although I don't believe my motherboard has a USB Type-C connector or a USB Type-C port on here. I believe it's USB 3.1 Gen 2, I believe, but it might be on here. and I'm just not seeing it. I really don't use USB Type-C much anyway for my PC, that is. But now pretty much all that's left for us to actually do is go ahead and grab the GTX 1660 Super from my old PC. I'm gonna clean it up a little bit, and then I'm gonna go ahead and install it into here. I'll catch you guys there. Alright guys, so I am again on the floor here, but we do have the entire thing done. As you guys can see here, I have the graphics card in. I'm gonna grab my USB stick for Windows, I'm gonna toss it in there, and I'm gonna get it over to the computer, and we're gonna go ahead and see if this thing boots up. The moment of truth. Alright, so unfortunately it is the next day. As you guys can see, the PC is done, everything is fully functional. After like the 5 or 6 hours I spent building this thing and also like filming the whole process, I ended up having some boot issues when I tried like installing all my stuff. But I went through the BIOS, kind of fixed all the stuff I could, and I ended up getting it to boot, and everything is fully functional, and I really love it. I'm so unbelievably satisfied with how this thing works. I have gone through and gotten like IQ and Asus Aura and like all the stuff I kind of need to like change all of the RGB and like customize it, and I honestly just love all of like the customizability that like current gen stuff has. Like, it really is awesome. Now I still have some upgrades for this PC. I'm definitely looking to upgrade the GPU from the 1660 Super to like something like the 3080, 3070, or even something like the 3060. Got one of the cheaper Cooler Master fans, as you guys can see in the top left. The wiring for that fan also is not ideal. It was just like 1 inch too short, so that's something that I also have to upgrade. I'm gonna get something like a 3-pin RGB header like extender or something like that, just something so I can extend that cord and it doesn't have to like run through like the front of my PC, so you don't have to see it. Other than that, the Cooler Master fan was probably like one of the most underrated things in this PC build in general. That fan literally costed me like 20 bucks, and the RGB looks absolutely beautiful. I like the RGB ring around it as well. Really reminds me of something like the Corsair LL120 or something to that effect. Obviously not as nice, but it is really cool. I have to figure out how to kind of like change the RGB on that. It's pretty much like the only thing I haven't gotten down. But other than that, I have it on the basic like rainbow mode you guys see here, and everything looks really good, including like having RGB on the motherboard. I think that's like a really nice touch as well. Overall, I'm honestly just insanely satisfied, and I'm really excited to start like upgrading the quality of some of the videos here on the channel. I'm just really excited to get in there, start working. I already got Premiere Pro, I got Photoshop on there, I got like literally everything I did have on my old PC. With that being said, I will also be streaming again, so make sure you guys do have notifications on for the channel. I don't know how soon I'm going to start streaming, as I do have to figure out all my OBS stuff again and kind of set up this camera you guys see here as my webcam again, so that's going to be kind of a long process. On top of that, I will be posting some pics probably later tonight or tomorrow on the PC over on Instagram if you guys do want to go check that out. Been posting like every other day there, so that's been really awesome. Also have some TikToks as well. Again, links to everything you guys see in this video, every single part of my PC will be linked in the description of this video. If you guys have any questions, make sure to go ahead and leave them in the comments down below, and I will catch you guys in the next video on the channel. Thank you for watching. Peace.